Drowning in Sand, Chapter 2, The Sickies and the Alienated, Part 2. Map awakes to a sonic stew of Ehab's cancerous coughing, Pist's confused barking, and Miss Nevershe's gigantic snores. He opens his eyes, and he stares out the windows at the gulls, seemingly frozen in midair, all squawking through beaks, holding trash or rotting pieces of fish. Sand grits in his teeth, is always in his hair ever since he came here. He stops looking out the window and wheels his just under 200-pound body to the bathroom, where pain accompanies nature's call, as usual. After he struggles himself back into his sandy wheelchair, he maneuvers himself down the hallway. He pauses at Tanya's door, as much out of curiosity as out of exhaustion, but he hears nothing, and he sees no light from coming under the door. He imagines she must have curtains and blinds, maybe even a blanket covering her window to keep out any sunlight from hitting her pale, pale skin. He rolls a little bit more down the hall, and Ehab's medical television is off, which means he's either sleeping or trying to fall asleep. Map hears 2 hacking coughs, which means nothing. The man coughs whether he's awake or asleep. He rolls past Miss Nevershe's open door to her unused room with a twin-size bed which cannot contain the entirety of her girth. He wheels himself on into the kitchen, avoiding the piles of sand which seem to live pooled up against the floorboards. The punk pink poodle is in the kitchen on the tile floor and is, once again, an extra large basketball with 3 legs, a crooked tail with skin showing through some once hot pink fur which is now thinned, and a bark that is half confused and half insulted. The dog has rolled herself to his empty food bowl and is looking from her bowl to her expanded, sleeping owner, and then to Map, sitting spaced out from pills in his wheelchair. Miss Nevershe, in her watery sleep, yawns so hard that the curtains on the window nearby move. Or was that because of the wind sneaking in through the old window? The dog stops looking at Map and seems to forget about her hunger, and she waddles over towards her mistress, and she begins to lovingly lick the folds of fat that are close to the floor. The dog, suddenly tired from carrying her massiveness from the kitchen to Miss Nevershe's industrial-sized tub, falls asleep against a fold of fat, as if it were a mattress made for her. Her master's massiveness somehow fits into the pillow. Map looks over and thinks that Miss Nevershe is larger now than she was last night, or rather earlier this morning, when Map and the doctor were watching her expand in her slumber. The television across the room turns on by itself and changes channel from a routine teeth cleaning to an operation that is slowly separating a pair of conjoined twins. Map looks away, but he says to the wall, "Morning, Ehab." Ehab coughs up some gunk in response. Map sits in his chair. Ehab's cough wakes the passed-out pink poodle's mistress from her watery snoozing. Her gigantic eyelids open slowly. While looking out at the trash lane and scanning the horizon for more smoking ghost ships, she says, "Map, will you bring me a handful of my donuts? I'm starved." She keeps looking out the window. She hasn't looked down at piss yet. Map answers her, "I'll bring you the whole box. I think there are about 5 or 6 left." Miss Nevershe licks her blubbery lips and says with a sigh, "Oh, I guess that'll have to do until they get here. I'll ask them to bring some more." She continues looking out the window that's in front of her industrial tub. She's drooling a little on her right side, anticipating the donuts that Map has on his lap as he wheels his chair across the room. She goes on, "Those dunes just keep getting smaller, and it would be okay if the waves were so beautiful, but they're just all trash." Map speaks as he wheels over to Miss Nevershe with his feet almost touching the snoozing, bloated poodle. "I used to love the smell of the ocean." He set the box of donuts in the moist towel covering her torso. "Now She's already finishing up her second donut with a third in her left hand, ready to be eaten. Matt continues, staring at a marble-sized crumb hanging from her lips like a mountain climber in danger of plunging into a ravine. And, have you noticed your dog pissed? Pistachio? Right, Pistachio, but the point is, have you seen her recently? Isn't she sleeping on the floor? I can hear her breathing. Miss Nevershe turns her monumental head slowly, and she starts to sweat from doing so. She tries to look over her massiveness to view her slumbering canine, but she cannot see past her expanding fat. I can't actually see her, Matt. Would you lift her up so that I could see her? Matt looks down at the sleeping poodle. He hesitates for a moment and says, well, Miss Nevershe, that's the problem. I can't lift her up right now. Neither one of them speaks for a minute. Miss Nevershe closes her eyes and takes a cat nap. Matt reaches over and takes the last donut from the box. The gulls fly in circles outside the window, chasing each other, screaming sick profanities at each other. Matt watches the birds as they fly around the house, shrieking, and then one rams head-on against the closed window in front of Miss Nevershe's tub. The bird smacks against the window at full speed, cracking the pane a little, but breaking the bird's neck, and it falls with a thump against the wooden deck outside. It leaves nothing but a crack in the window and some mystery goo rolling down the cracked pane. The other gulls continue unbothered as they shriek and caw above the trash line, above the trashed beach. Later, they will return to peck at their brother's feathery, salty corpse. The crack and the thud awake Miss Nevershe again from her nap. Oh, Matt, now, what were you saying about Pistachio? She's huge. I don't understand. What did you say? She's huge. There's no better way to say it. She's ballooned up to the size of a medicine ball. You can't pick her up to show me. Well, being in this chair doesn't help, but I couldn't lift her right now anyway, my back and all. And as he says this, as if on cue, his wretched legs start to feel like they're on fire. And he burns in his left leg from the knee up. In the right leg, he burns the toes up, and he suddenly is so much pain, he's afraid he's going to piss himself. He closes his eyes, and he grips the edge of his chair, and he holds on tight until the pain subsides. When the stabbing sensation stops, he keeps his eyes closed, and he wipes the sweat from the brow, and he looks down at the pink poodle. The queen pink dog is awake and licking herself in her pale pink privates, but now she is back to her normal, standard size. Matt rubs his eyes, wipes sweat from his brow again, and says to Miss Nevershe, "Never mind, Miss Nevershe. It looks like she's back to normal. It happened last night, too, when the doctor was here." Dr. Degooge? Yeah, Dr. Degooge. He was here last night? Filthiness and all. Matt reaches into his shirt pocket and pulls out some pills. He throws one pill into his mouth, drops one in front of Pistachio, and hands 2 to Miss Nevershe. "He left some of these for you." "What are they?" I'm not sure, but I've taken a handful of them and I feel better. A little, I think. She puts the 2 pills into her mouth and crushes them with her colossus coffee-stained molars. "Thank you." She turns her back towards the window and continues to stare at the ugly waves, the shrinking dunes, the aggressive gulls, as she says once more, "Thank you." And then she shuts her eyes, and within a minute she begins to snore. Pist is still licking herself and continues to lick and lick and lick. Matt wheels his way past the licking dog and the tub, and he goes over to the cracked window. He looks down and he sees the dead gull lying there on the warped deck, and he hears one gull crying out, and then another. Then, less than a minute later, 3, then 4 gulls swoop down and land on the deck and begin to hack into the stomach and the eyes of the dead gull with their blood-stained beaks. Nap watches this for a minute, and then he backs away and looks over at the television. The channel changes again to a program about shingles, and a hacking cough comes from the other side of the wall. And outside, the wind blows stronger, the waves are getting bigger, and the gulls are getting full from eating their cousin on the wet, sandy deck. And as nasty bits of ocean spray land on them and on the windows, it leaves a slate gray residue on the grimy window panes, on the bloody feathers.